this week's Parsha, we study the story about Moshe being charged with the mission to lead the Jews out of Egypt, take them through the desert to Mount Sinai, and finally lead them into the Holy Land, the land of milk and honey. How was Moshe chosen for such an exalted mission? What unique qualifications did he have that made him such a worthy candidate for this endeavor? Did he have a mastery of the entire Talmud, and because of that he was chosen? Was he super righteous? Were his tzitzis just extra long and special? And that's why he was chosen for this worthy mission? What was it about Moshe, or what was in his resume that made him such a worthy candidate? If we go back to the beginning of the story of Moshe in last week's Parsha, Shemos, we find the story of Moshe going out to his brothers and seeing them in their bondage. But the background of Moshe, we know, is that he grew up in the house of Pharaoh. He grew up as a product of the privileged status that the Egyptians had. He didn't know the suffering in his own personal life in his younger years. Yet when he went out to the streets of Egypt, he saw their suffering, and he empathized with the predicament of the Israelites. Moshe saw the suffering and empathized with others. In Pirkei Avos, we're taught about needing 48 ways to acquire the knowledge of Torah. And one of those 48 ways is nosei ba'olam chavero. What does that literally mean? Carrying the yoke with your friend. When you see your friend in a difficult circumstance, you go over to him and try to help him out. Can you solve his situation? Perhaps not. But you go over and you empathize with him because you are telling him, I am with you. I may not be able to solve your situation, but I empathize and I feel your pain. That was the story of Moshe in Egypt. Moshe went out to the streets and he saw the predicament of his brothers and sisters. He saw them being beaten and battered and bruised by the Egyptians. And he knew at that moment he cannot necessarily solve the whole situation, but he can do one thing. He can carry their burden with him. He saw their brothers, he saw his brothers, and he identified with their suffering. He empathized with them. Folks, I think the message is loud and clear for us. When we see someone that we know, a friend or a family in a difficult situation, and we want to help out, we may not be able to solve the situation that they're in, but there's one thing we can do. We can go over and tell them, I empathize with you, I feel your pain, and I just want to let you know I'm here for you. That's a wonderful lesson for us to emulate.